Good evening, all of you. The IFRS 13 fair value measurement. I told you we have 4 areas to be considered when measuring fair value. The item going to be measured, that is unit of account, then highest and best use. You are not going to use always your own current purpose. You can go for an alternative purpose and get the value of that alternative purpose, but important point, it should be physically possible, legally permissible and financially feasible. Not only that, always you have to deduct any conversion cost when you are going for an alternative method. That's the highest and best use. Then market we have discussed. Basically, we have to directly use the principal market. Principal market means what? The market having greatest volume of activities. That is not your own side as an entire market. The greatest volume of activities having we consider as a principal market. You have to select the principal market first. Then based on the principal market, you will select the market price and the transport cost. No transaction cost, you consider only the transport cost. Then you will deduct transport cost from the market price. Then you will have the fair value in the principal market. If you are unable to get the principal market, then you can go for the most advantageous market. First you have to select the most advantageous market, then you can go for the fair value. First you have to select the most advantageous market. Most advantageous market means the market having highest revenue to the entity. Highest revenue to the entity. Therefore you are taking, what is? Market price, then you will deduct both transaction cost and transport cost. Then highest price having, the market having highest price will be considered as the most advantageous market after deducting both transaction and transportation cost. Then once you selected most advantageous market, again you have to calculate fair value on that market, no changes. You will take market price minus transport cost as it is in the principal market, you will calculate fair value. Keep your mind, when you are computing fair value, you can deduct only transport cost, but to consider the most advantageous market, you have to deduct both transaction and transport cost. That is the point we have discussed at the last point of last day, that was day before yesterday. Clear? Right, now finally we have to discuss final area, that is the appropriate valuation technique. I have explained little bit of valuation techniques. You have 3 valuation techniques: the market approach, the cost approach, and the income approach. Now, when you are going to use any of the approach, you can use informations. You have to use informations for the valuation. When you are getting information, you have 3 sources of information. That's level 1, level 2, and level 3 information you can apply. Level 1 means the information you obtain from the direct market. For example, when you are going to value quoted shares, investment in quoted shares, you have invested on share market. When you invested on share market, you have a financial asset in your balance sheet. You have to record it at fair value. But very easy, you can calculate the fair value because you have the direct market price in the share market list. Directly you are taking the direct market price, then multiplied by the number of shares, and you will value the fair value. Is it clear? Very easy. Directly you are taking price from the market. But always at any place you cannot use this direct market price method. For example, when you have investment in a private company, private limited company, you have shares in a private limited company. Now private limited company, their shares are not publicly traded. No share market price. Therefore, at that time you can go for the level 1 information. Therefore, you should have an alternative method of information. Is it clear what I am explaining? Right? Then to value the shares in a private company, this type of investment, not only the shares in a private company, doesn't have direct market. Clear? The investment does not have a direct market. You have to go for an alternative method. That alternative method is the level 2 inputs. In the level 2 inputs, what you are going to do, you are going to identify similar asset which having direct market. Got it? Your asset, you don't have a direct market, that's why you go for the level 2. Level 2 tells you, you have to select a similar asset which has a direct market. Then you will take that price. That price is not your asset's price. That is the price of your similar asset to your asset. Now you cannot apply that price as it is for your asset, because your asset and that asset may be similar in the name and the nature, but based on the capital structure you invested, what funds you used, based on that your risk and the similar asset risk may be totally different. Therefore, you have to change the selected price in accordance with your investment. Got it? That means you have to make some small adjustments to the direct market price you selected for the similar asset. That is level 2. Then say you don't have a similar asset also. Only asset you have, it is your asset. You don't have a similar asset. Then you cannot go for the level 2 also. And if you don't have a similar asset even, you don't have a market price. If you have level 1, direct market price you have. If you have level 2, again you have a market price. Clear? You will make some adjustment there, but you have a market price in level 2 also. If you don't have a similar asset, then you cannot go for a market price. Then final solution is, you will estimate net cash flows generated during the next lifetime of the asset. Now you are estimating today. Then from today you will have a residual, you will have a remaining lifetime of the asset. During that remaining lifetime, asset will generate cash flows. Then you can easily estimate the net cash flows. Then by using a relevant discounting factor, you can discount all future expected cash flows from the asset. Then you have the present value of the future expected cash flows, right? Therefore, that value you can use as a fair value of the asset. Therefore, you are getting information outside or in-house. In-house, you will estimate by yourself. It is not a market price. That level called level 3 inputs. Now look at the paragraph explained after these 3 inputs. An item fair value is categorized according to the lowest level input. Therefore, a fair value measurement of quoted shares based on the unadjusted share price is a level 1 measurement. If you are using unadjusted share price, that is level 1. Where fair value measurement of an unquoted investment, that is private limited company shares, unquoted investment using a valuation technique based on discounted cash flow is a level 3 measurement, right? Now read the first paragraph. The standard requires that any valuation technique that use of relevant observable input should be maximized and unobservable input should be minimized. Now, if you are using level 1 and level 2, those two categorized as observable data. Got it? Level 1 and level 2 always represent observable data. Why? You will observe the market and take. Got it what I am telling? You will observe the market and get in the price. Level 1 as well as level 2, you will take in from where? In a calculation of market. Both in level 1 and level 2, you taking from the market. Therefore, level 1, level 2 information we call observable inputs. Through observe, you are getting information. But level 3, you will estimate by yourself. Therefore, it is not observable data. We call that is unobservable data. Therefore, level 1, the highest hierarchy of observable data. Level 3, lowest hierarchy of observable data. Standard RCUs always try to use observable data, not the unobservable data. But there is no way, no alternative, then you can go for unobservable data such as level 3. But you have to give priority for level 1 or level 2. Clear? Right. Now this is the question. I have made this question as a CA paper, 10-mark question. I will give you 10 minutes to answer. Try to answer this question. I think you have standard books with you. Therefore, you can easily answer. I am not going to read the question. Please try to answer this question. I will give 10 marks. Sorry, 10 minutes to answer. Right, in the first answer, first question, describe the different levels of inputs. Explain in SLFRS 13 fair value measurement in measuring fair value, 3 marks. Describe, that means you have to write down the definition. Different level of inputs, that is level 1, level 2 and level 3. Right? If I take this standard, this is appendix A in the standard book. Directly you have to write down the definition, describe the level, 3 levels. Here, level 1 inputs, level 2 inputs and level 3 inputs. Right? Directly you can take on from the appendix. Here I can't refer the page number because I have downloaded only that is standard. Therefore no page numbers. On the appendix, level 1, level 2, level 3, the definitions is there. You have to take that way. Only 3 marks to write down 3 definitions. Clear? Right. Then second question. According to SLFRS 13, state the 3 different approaches that can be used to derive the fair value. 3 approaches you have: cost approach, market approach and income approach. Right? Again in the appendix, here market approach, you can see, right? Then above page, cost approach and income approach. Here you have the cost approach, right? I think better to use your standard book. Cost approach in first page, appendix A, first page cost approach. Then after highest and best use definition you have income approach, right? Then here you have market approach after level 3 definition. Just write down because they are asking. And I believe these 2 questions may be tested this time, in the very first time. Clear? Because you have to directly take from the standard. Is it clear? Right. Then the second question, more subjective question. Did you answer the second question? No. Take few minutes to answer this question also. Second question more subjective question because you have to decide. They are explaining practical question. Read second question properly. They are explaining a method they applied by the company ABC Private Limited. A method they have applied. Now you have to determine comment. The question is comment. That you have to explain what is the real method and you have to compare with the given scenario. Right? The answering of this type of question more critical because you have to evaluate the method they used. ABC Private Limited is a real estate company specializing in industrial property development. ABC measures its industrial investments property. They have investment property. According to LKS 40, investment property can be subsequently measured at cost or revaluation model. If they are going for the cost model, they have to depreciate year by year and charge depreciation into the P&L. They select revaluation model, it is not required to do depreciation. Each year end they are required to measure the fair value. Clear? Then the difference between open fair value and closing fair value will be charged into profit and loss as a gain no loss. That is the investment property treatment under fair value model. Clear? Right. Now in this case ABC having investment properties, they are going to measure the fair value using fair value method, right? Fair value is arrived. Now fair value is arrived. ඒ කියන්නේ එයාලා ගත්ත විදියෙන් දැන් පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුතේ. හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් counting standard එකේ method එකක් තියෙනවා. What is the method you have to apply? You have to apply. Now here they are explaining what they applied. What they are expecting to compare the method they applied and the method should be applied. You are asked to comment. Then you have to start from the theoretical background. You have to say this is the methods should be applied. But in the given scenario, this is the method they have applied. And second paragraph, is it complying or not with this standard? Got it? That's the way of you have to develop the answer. Right. Fair value is arrived at using estimated value to be incurred. Estimated value to be incurred to build similar kind of investment property less any observances. That's the way they measure the fair value. Valuation are conducted by a member of the finance division. Observances is determined based on the age of the property and the nature of its use. Sale prices for a similar kind of investment property, sale prices for a similar kind of investment property in a similar location, as well as market trend data for similar kind of industrial property are also available. If you take a price of a similar investment property available in the market, rent data also available in the market. Now, you have to answer. Comment the method used by the ABC in measuring fair value of industrial investment property. Is it acceptable, the method they used? What the method they used? They estimated cost to be incurred to develop same kind of investment property. What is the standard ask? Therefore, you have to answer like this. Start. I will give you the answer. Then practice for any question the way I am explaining, right? Okay, first you have to explain the theoretical background. You have to use your standard book. Otherwise, you can't do. Everything you cannot keep in your mind, right? According to SLFRS 13, write down. I am telling the answer. According to SLFRS 13, to measure fair value, an entity can use 3 approaches. Such as cost approach, market approach, and income approach. Next paragraph. For the purpose of fair value measurement, standard also recommended three levels of inputs. Three levels of inputs. Depicted below. Rewrite level 1 input and the definition, level 2 input and the definition, level 3 inputs and the definition. I think you can easily take it from your standard book. I have displayed here. Level 1 inputs, quoted price unadjusted in an active market for identical assets or liability that the entity can access at the measurement date. Level 2 inputs, other than quoted prices included within level 1 that are observable for the asset or liability either directly or indirectly. Level 3, unobservable input of the asset or liability. Right? Next paragraph, I think you can rewrite it now by referring your books. Therefore, next paragraph. However, in the given scenario, entity cannot use level 1 inputs since investment property does not have an active market. Entity cannot use level 1 inputs since investment property does not have active market. Is it clear? For the investment properties, you don't have a investment property market in Sri Lanka. You cannot find out a separate market for investment property. For example, for vegetables, you have many market, right? For fish, you have St. John Fish Market. Likewise, do you have any market directly can directly identified for investment property? You don't have. It is different. Therefore, you can't use level 1. But level 2 inputs, such as sales prices for a similar kind of investment property. Sales prices for a similar kind of investment property. In a similar location. Is available. And also level 3 inputs such as market rent data, level 3 inputs such as market rent data for similar kind of industrial property. Similar kind of investment property are also available. For the purpose of measuring present value. For the purpose of measuring present value. Clear? This information available. Next paragraph. But entity used or entity arrived the fair value of investment property inner property, using the estimated value, to be incurred to build similar kind of investment property less any observances. You can see the method they explain here, right? Clear? Using the estimated value to be incurred to build similar kind of investment property less any observances. That's the method they use. You are writing the method they use. Clear? You can see that in the question, right? The method they used. However, entity arrived the fair value by using the estimated value to be incurred to build similar kind of investment property less any observances. The method they use, you have to say. You have to say what the method they used. Right? Even though they have level 2 and level 3 inputs. Even though they have level 2 and level 3 inputs, they have used this method. ඔයාලට කියන්න ඕන මේ level 2 level 3 තියෙද්දිත් මෙයාලා මේක use කරා. Right? Now can you say this information they use is aligned with level 2 or level 3? No. This is not the level 2 or level 3 inputs. It's not the level 1 inputs. It's a separate input. That is not recommended by the standard. Right? Therefore, the method used by ABC Private Limited is not aligned with the requirement of SLFRS 30. Simple. Right? Level 1 එකේ කියන්නේ කෙලින්ම මාකට් එකේ දීලා ප්‍රයිස් එක ගන්න කියලා. Level 2 එකේ කියන්නේ similar price එකක් ගන්න කියලා. Similar asset එකක price එකක් අරන් adjust කරගන්න කියලා. Level 3 එකේ කියන්නේ future income එක estimate කරලා cost එක estimate කරලා net income එක net cash flow එක discount කරන්න කියලා. ඒතර මේකේ කෙලින්ම market එකකට යන්න බෑ. This is investment property, right? But you have a similar prices of similar assets, right? එහෙම කියනවනේ මේක. So rent data available කියනවා. Rent data available කියන්නේ for the discounting purpose. You can estimate the rent and discount after deducting the cost. Then level 1, level 2 and level 3 is there. But they have used another method not aligned with this standard. But the story should be clearly told. You have to clearly explain what is the method. This is the standard requirement. This is the information available, but this is the method they use and it is not complying with the standard. Is it clear? That's the comprehensive answer. Right? දැන් ඕක භාගයට ලියලා අවිලා අපි හිතනවා විභාගේ පාස් වෙයි කියලා. එහෙම ලියලා අවිලා කියන්නේ මේ පාර හොඳට ලියුවා පාස් වෙයි කියලා. ඔච්චර ලියන්නේ නැහැ නේද? හිතලා බලන්න ලියපු විභාගේ ලියපු අය. දැන් බලන්න ඔය ආන්සර් එක ලියන්න කියවන්න පුළුවන් අකුරෙන් ඔයාලා ලිව්වනම් මම කියපු විදිහටම වෙන කාටද කිව්වොත් ඕක තේරෙනව නේද පුතේ? ඔයාලා තමන්ව ජජ් කරන්නකෝ උත්තරේ කියවලා. first time BFR ලියන අය තුස්සන්. අර දැන් අනිත් අය බලන්න. අනිත් අය ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන විශේෂයෙන්. මොකද first time ලියන අයට තව කාලේ තියෙනවා පාස්. ඒක විහිළුවට කිව්වේ. දැන් second try ලියන අය බලන්න ඔය ආන්සර් එක ඔය වගේ ආන්සර් එකක් ලියුවාද කියලා ඔයාලා. ලියලා නැතුව ඇති පුතේ. ඔයාලා පේපර් එකකට ලියන්නේ ලකුණු 60කට හෝ 70කට. මොකද 7 වෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ අල්ලන්නවත් වෙලාව නැහැ නේ. කන්සල්ටේෂන් එක හදන්න පැය දෙකමාර. ඒක නිසා. හරි? එතකොට ලකුණු 70කට විතර ලියලා ඒකෙත් භාග භාගින ලියවිලා ඇත්තේ ඔය බලන විදිහට. කමෙන්ට් කිව්වත්, එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කිව්වත්, ඩිස්ක්‍රයිබ් කිව්වත් එකම දේ ලියලා ඇති. තියරි පැත්ත අල්ලලාවත් නැතුව ඇති. But they asking to comment, they asking to advise, they asking to explain. But you are computing. Right? එතකොට 70කට ලිව්ව මෙන්නේ 35නේ. හරිනේ 35 නේ තියෙන්නේ. හරි. 70 ලිව්ව 35 තියෙන්නේ හරියටම හරි. මම අපේ ළමයෙකුට කිව්වා 35කට වඩා ගත්තොත් මම අතෙන් සල්ලි දෙනවා CFR පන්ති යන්න කියලා. මිනිහට 35 නැහැ. ඒ කරන වැඩ දිහා බලන් ඉඳලා කීයද කොහොමද ලියන්නේ නැත්තේ කියලා. හරි. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මම කිව්වොත් එහෙම වෙනවා. ඒකින්ද මම කියන එක නතර කරන්න හදන්නේ මේ පරීක්ෂාවෙම කියන. හරි. හේතුව පුතේ බලන් ඉඳලා ඔයාලා හැසිරෙන විදිහින් කියත හැකි ඔයාලා මේක ලියනවද නැද්ද කියන එක. දැන් ඕක ඔච්චර අමාරුද උත්තරේ ලියන්න පාඩම් කරන්න ඕනද කියන්නේ ඕක ලියන්න. ඒ හැමදේම ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් බුක් එකේ තියෙනවා පුතේ. දැන් මම පිටුවත් පෙරලා පෙන්නනවානේ. පොත පෙරලා ගත්තා මෙන්න තියරිය මෙන්න කරලා තියෙන දේ මේක හරි නේ. හරි සිම්පල්. ශිෂ්‍යත්ව ළමයි 100ක් තියම මම මෙතන කියනොත් ඒ 100ම පාස් වෙන දන්නවද VFR? ඔට්ටුවක් දාලා මම උගාට පාස් කරලා පෙන්නන ශිෂ්‍යත්ව ළමයි ග්‍රීන් සූට් එක දෙනවා නම් මට ශිෂ්‍යත්ව ළමයිට ලියවන්න ඇඩ්මිෂන් එක ළමයි 5 දෙනෙකුට මම 5 දෙනා පාස් කරලා පෙන්නනවා. මම කරලා පෙන්නන චැලෙන්ජ් එකක් මගේ. මොකද උන් කියන දේ අහනවා. උන්ට වාඩි කරලා මෙන්න පොත පුතේ මෙන්න මේ උත්තර මෙන්න මේ වගේ ප්‍රශ්න එන්නේ මෙන්න මෙහෙමයි ලියන්න කිව්වොත් හොඳටම ලියන જાතිය ශිෂ්‍යත්ව ළමයිනේ. වැඩේ තියෙන්නේ ක්වොලිෆයිඩ් ඕක පාස් වුණොත් මෙම්බර්ෂිප් දෙන්නේ නේ. ඊට පස්සේ නඩුවක් දැම්මොත් මෙම්බර්ෂිප් දෙන්නේ කියලා. නැත්තම් කරන්න පුතේ. ඔයාලගේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන ඔයාලව කියන දේ අහන්නේ. ඔයාලගේ ප්‍රශ්න කියන දේ අහන්නේ. මම දැක්ක දෙයක්. එයි දන්නේ මටත් ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඔය ඔළුව අතරත් ඒ දුවන හරි සරලයි උත්තර ලියන්න. Simple theoretically ලිව්වා මෙන්න වෙන්න ඕන දේ. Right. The next question. අපි මේක ඔක්කොම questions කරාද? Mehran question you are completed, right? Yes, that's all of the fair valuation. This question also completed. ඉතින් තව ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා අපි ඒකත් කරමු. එතකොට මේක ඉවරයි. හොඳට පේනව නේද? කියවන්න පුළුවන්ද? මම මෙතනින් අද දැන් තීරෙන්නේ නැහැ සූර්යය වෙනවා. එහෙම ඒවා තියෙනව නේද? පරිගණකේ. හරි. Mehran wishes to fair value. දැන් පුතේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක අතේ තියෙනවනේ. ඇප්ලයි කරන්න පුළුවන් ඒරියාස් මොනවද බැරි ඒරියාස් මොනවද කියලා ලියාගත්තා නේද? ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකත් ඒක තියෙනව නේද? ඒකත් පෙන්නගන්න. Where you can apply, where you can't apply කියලා මම කිව්වනේ ඔයාලට. Clear? PPE investment property blah 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 apply කරන්න පුළුවන් කිව්වනේ. share based payment වලට apply නැහැ. inventory NRV measurement not applying. inventory NRV measurement. Right? now මේකත් inventory case එකක්. ඒකයි මම කිව්ව බලන්න කියලා apply කරන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා ඉස්සෙල්ලා. Mehran wishes to fair value the inventory of the entity acquired. What they are going to do? They have acquired inventory. They are not going to present the inventory at the year end at lower of cost to NRV. That is not the purpose. They are going to measure the fair value of inventory acquired. That's okay. That is acceptable. තොගයට බෑ කියලා ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න එපා කියලා මම මේ කියන්නේ පුතේ. When you measuring the net realizable value of inventory, tell me which purpose you are measuring net realizable value? Because LK2 clearly asks you to measure NRV at cost, whichever is lower for which date? Initial recognition or subsequent measurement? Subsequent measurement. Now what is this? This is initial recognition. Clear? දැන් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකකට බෑ කිව්ව ගමන් බෑම කියලා ඔලුව දියා ගන්න එපා. බෑ කියන දේවල් පුළුවන්. කොච්චර බෑ කියපුවා පුළුවන් වෙලා තියෙද? හරි ක්වොලිෆයිඩ් වෙලා බලන්නකෝ බෑ කියපුවා පුළුවන් වෙන හැටි. චාර්ටඩ් ක්වොලිෆයිඩ් වෙලා බලන්න පිළිලමට කියන්නේ. බෑ කියපුවා ඕන තරම් පුළුවන් වෙනවා. හරි. Right. Entity acquired, right? Now they are going for the initial recognition. There are three different market for the produce. They have three markets. Clear? Which are mainly vegetables. The first is the local domestic market where Mehran can sell direct to retailer to the produce. Can ekak domestic market directly selling to the retailers. right? එතන මෙහෙරන් කියන්නේ ෆාම් එකක් කියලා මතකයි කතා කරන්නේ. මේකේ පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ අපි කරානේ පුතේ නේ. පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ අර මොකද්ද? ෆාමින් ලෑන්ඩ් එකක්. ඒකේ මේ දෙවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ හරි. දැන් මෙයාලා කොහොමත් ඇග්‍රිකල්චර් සෙක්ටර් එකේ ඉන්නේ. Now for the vegetable, the stock is vegetable, they have a one market that is Mehran to retailer. One market. There are no restrictions on the sale of produce in either of the domestic market other than the demand of the retailer and manufacturer. The final market is export market, but the government limit the amount of produce which can be exported. තව market එකක් තියෙනවා export market එක, but government limit the amount you can export. Mehran need a license from the government to export its produce. Farmers tend to sell all the produce that they can in the export market, and when they do not have any further authorization to export, they sell remaining produce into the two domestic market. In the difficult to obtain information of the volume of trade in the domestic market, where the produce is sold locally direct to the retailer, but Mehran feels that market is at least as large as the domestic market. That means look at the three markets they given. First look at the table. Domestic market direct to retailer. Domestic market direct to manufacturer. ඒ කියන්නේ මම වගාවක් කරනවා නම් බණ්ඩක්කා දන්නව නේද? හරි. බණ්ඩක්කා වගාවක් කරනවා නම් මට බණ්ඩක්ක විකුණන්න පුළුවන් ඩොමෙස්ටික් මාකට් දෙකක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි රීටේලර්ස් වලට මම විකුණනවා කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ මිනිස්සු ඒව අරන් ගිහලා පොලේ දාගෙන බිම දාගෙන බණ්ඩක්කා කියලා විකුණනවා. one market. නැත්නම් මට බණ්ඩක්ක විකුණන්න පුළුවන් බණ්ඩක්ක පැකට් කරලා රට යවන මැනුෆැක්චරර් කෙනෙකුට. බැරිද? පුළුවන් නේ. Then I have two markets, right? Direct to retailer, direct to manufacturer, or direct to consumer. Can't I sell it to the consumers? I can, but they are not talking about that market. D to D, D to එහෙම ඉගෙනගෙන තියෙනවා නේද කොමර්ස් වල? Manufacturer will sell to the retailer, to the customer, or to the another manufacturer. Clear? Now they have selected two market domestically, to the retailer or to the manufacturer, and there is another market, export market. Clear? Now you have three markets information. Volume. Now look at the volume. What's the problem? Domestic market direct to retailer, you don't have information. Clear? Unknown. But domestic market to manufacturer 20 tons, export 10,000 tons. Likewise you have, but one market you don't have market volume. Clear? Right. දැන් මේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි හොඳද? ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ එහෙමයි. ඒක දාන්න මතක කරලා නෙමෙයි. Right? Mehran sales per month. Now volume is market volume, right? Second row talk about Mehran's volume. How much Mehran's selling? 10, 4 and 60. Is it clear? Right. Then price, transport cost and selling agent fees likewise මොනවද? Transaction cost. Clear? Right. Now you have to measure the fair value. That's the question. Measure the fair value. This is the question about out of that 4 points, what is? Unit of account, highest and best use, market or approach. කතා කරා. ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකේ points කීයක්ද සලකා බලන්න ඕන කියලා මම කිව්වේ? 4 points. Unit of account. Item going to be measured. දෙක highest and best use. 3 market. 4 approach and the levels of inputs. මේ මොකක්ද? They are talking about the market. 3 markets නේ. නේද? දැන් උත්තරේ ලියන්න හරියට. Advise how Mehran should measure their fair value. Simple. දැන් බලන්න මේ කරලා ඉවර වෙච්ච ගමන් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක ප්‍රශ්නයක් දුන්නම නිකන් මඤ්ඤං වෙලා වගේ ඉන්නේ අපි. ඉතින් දෙසැම්බර් මොනවා වෙයිද කියන්නකෝ සීතලත් එක්ක. 25ට පස්සේද BFR දින ඉස්සෙල්ලද? අර ප්‍රශ්නයක් 25න් පස්සේ වැටුනේ. ඉස්සෙල්ලා තියන්න කියලා මං ඉල්ලීමක් කරන්න ඉන්සොට්. බලපවුනේ නැත්නම්. ලියන්න බලන්න ඔයාලට හිතෙන විදිහට what would be the fair value? Advise them, right? Advise them. 9 marks. Look at the marks given. 9 marks. This is ACC equation 2017. It is simple. You have to select a principal market. If you can't go, you have to go for the most advantageous market. I don't know which market available. Follow the method is recommended by this standard. මොකද අපේ ළමයි කියලා කියන්නේ අම්මා තාත්තගෙන් කැමරා එක ඔන් කරලා තියෙන්නේ. කැමරා එක ඔන් කරන්න හොඳයි. Sri Lankan people, their habit is they are normally ask a question. Every children will ask a question from parent ni. අයියා අපි හැදුවේ උඹලා කියලා. සල්ලි ඉල්ලුවම දෙන්න බෑ කිව්වම. දේපල ඉල්ලුවම දෙන්න බෑ කිව්වම. නැත්තම් කා බනිද්දි අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක් දෙමව්පියන්ගේ කට වහන්නේ. එහෙනම් අයියා අපි උඹලා හැදුවේ කියලා. ඒක සාමාන්‍ය ලංකාවේ ළමයි 100ක් ගත්තොත් 99ක් අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක්. කියන්නේ අපේ ලංකාවේ මිනිස්සු පුරුදුලා තිනවා අපේ වැරද්දක් පිළිගන්නේ නැතිව ඉන්න මට්ටම. අනුන් තමයි වැරදි අපි හරි මේ අපේ කම්ෆර්ට් සෝන් එකේ අපි ඉන්නේ අපි හරි අනුන් වැරදි හින්දා තමයි අපිට මෙහෙම මේ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. කවුරුත් හරි වැරද්ද පටව ගන්න කෙනෙක් හොයාගන්න බැරි නම් ජීවිතේ අපි ඒක පටවන නවග්‍රහ මණ්ඩලයෙන් එහෙකට. මේක රාහුගේ දෝෂයක් කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ ඒකට රාහුට ළඟට යන්න බැරි හින්දා බෝධියක් ගහවට ගිහිල්ලා බෝධිය ගාව ඉඳන් රාහුට බනිනවා. ඒකනේ කරන්නේ. නැත්තම් පල්ලියකට ගිහිල්ලා අර කොච්චි කඩේ නම් පාර දිගේ ඇවිදලා මාල අරගෙන ඇවිල්ලා එල්ලනවා. නැත්තම් සීනිගම දේවල් ගිහිල්ලා ගහනවා මොකක් හරි පොලයක්. කාට හරි වැරද්ද පටව ගන්න බැරි නම් අපි කරන්නේ ග්‍රහ මණ්ඩලයට පවරන එකනේ. වෙලාවට ඔගේ 9ක් හිටියේ. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි හිතනවා මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු අපිට වැරදි කරනවා. ඒකින්ද මේ අපි විභාග ෆේල් වෙනවා. මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්න මිනිස්සු වැරදි කරන්නේ නැත්නම් අර පිට ගහ ලෝක නම් ඉන්න මිනිස්සු ටික තමයි අපිට වැරදි කරන්නේ. උන්ට හරි ගහන්න ඕන වැඩේ කියලා. හරි. මේ ලෝකේ ඉන්නේ උන් වැරදි කරනවා නම් උන්ට එක ගුණ වරපෙන් බන්න උන්ට ගහන උන් ඒක රන් වෙනවා. පිට ගහ ලෝක වල ප්‍රශ්නයක් නම් කට්ටඩියක් අල්ලන් උන්ට ගහන. කවදාත් අපේ වැරද්දක් ඇති කියලා අපි හිතන්නේ නැහැ නේ පුතේ. ඒක තමයි පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නේ. ඔයාලගේ උත්තර පත්‍ර බැලුවම පුතේ හරි ප්‍රාථමිකයි. බිස්නස් ලෙවල් ළමයි ලියන මට්ටමට ලියලා නැහැ. කියන්නේ හරියට ටෙක්නිකල් පොයින්ට් එක ටච් කරලා this is the technical point. මම බලන්න මම ආන්සර් එක දෙන විදිය. මේක තමයි ටෙක්නිකල් පොයින්ට් එක. මේ විදිහට කරන්න ඕන. හැබැයි මෙහෙම කරලා නැහැ. ඒකයි අපි වැරදි කියන්නේ. Now in this case you have to say same thing. Now look at my answer. Write down. Separate, write down my answer. Right? According to LKS 13, sorry, SLFRS 13, right? According to SLFRS 13, to measure the fair value of the vegetable acquired, දැන් බලන්න මම ලියන ඉතින් ඔහම ලියලා තියෙද? දැන් අපි ඉන්නේ A level වල fair value එක measure කරන්නනේ පුතේ. ඉතින් ඒකෙන් පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ අපි. To measure the fair value of the vegetables acquired, Mehran have 3 selected markets. Mehran has 3 selected markets. Right? Out of these 3 markets, Mehran must select the principal market. The principal market to measure the fair value. Now write down the definition of the principal market within inverted comma. Right. Now write down next paragraph. Now you have explained the principal market. Right. Now you have to say what is the principal market in out of these three markets. What is the principal market? What is the principal market? Domestic market direct to manufacturer, export market or domestic market direct to retailer. දැන් උත්තර දෙයි ලස්සනට මේ direct to manufacturer කියලා. Write down. Since all the information of all three market not available, entity cannot use the principal market. Can you select the principal market here out of only two? Three markets selected, but information available only for two markets. Therefore, they cannot use a principal market technique. ඒක clear? Right? They cannot use principal market technique. Is it clear? Since information of all three markets, information means volume, volume of all three market not available, Mehran cannot use the technique of principal market. Clear? ඉතින් මතක තියාගන්න මේක ඉගෙන ගන්න outcome එක පුතේ, if you don't have information of all three market, you cannot go for the principal market. That's the output. Right? This the lack of information of market volume of all three market, or since you have only two markets volume, entity cannot go for the principal market take. Clear? Next paragraph. Therefore, according to SLFRS 13, entity requires to, or Mehran requires to select most advantageous market for the purpose of fair value measurement. Right? Now you know what you have to do. Define what is most advantageous market. Define it. These figures are correct? Correct. Right, look at the board, whiteboard. The most advantageous market selection. You will deduct both transaction cost and transportation cost from the selling price of each market and select the highest net gain market as the most advantageous market. Therefore, highest net gain was 1094 from the export market. Therefore, you will select export market as the most advantageous market. Is it clear? Am I correct? The calculations. Technique is correct. I am explaining calculation. I need to check whether the calculation is correct. Correct. Right. Therefore, after calculation of 1094, write down, since export market having highest net gain, it would be the most advantageous market. Write down that sentence. Once you calculate all three gains, write down, since export market having highest net gain per unit, export market will be the most advantageous market for the Mehran. Clear? Therefore, based on the Mehran sales price, fair value can be calculated as follows. Fair value can be measured as follows. Market price 1200, transport cost, we are considering only transport cost 100, therefore fair value 1100. Now I think you can clearly understand that I think you had some complexities in last day. Sometime I am deducting transaction cost and some places I am not deducting. Now you can see at the fair value measurement only transport cost you will deduct it, right? But for the selection of most advantageous market you can deduct both expenses. Is it clear? This is very important, right? Now again look at the fair value measurement, I am deducting only 100. That is transport cost. It never changes. Fair value will be the difference between the sale price and the transport cost in given information, right? But most advantageous market, you will deduct both expenses. Clear? Right. Now look at, now you can argue. I'm wondering why you are not asking. Now selling price, that is transaction cost for direct to retailer market, blank. Can you see? Then no information available. You can't say. That is blank. That is no. But previous case, unknown. Look at the difference. This is very important to understand. Clear? You cannot select principal market since data not available. Is it clear? Data not available. That's why they mention unknown. Volume unknown, not available. Since information not available, you cannot go for that technique. Is it clear? But this case, selling agent fees per ton, direct to retailer, blank. That is nil. Nil means no, not available. No transaction cost. No transaction cost and not available is two different. Information not available and no transaction cost is two different things. You will apply when there is no information, no data there, that is no cost there, then you can apply. That is zero. Answer is zero there, right? But unknown means you cannot apply. It may be there, but you unknown. You don't know. Under that situation, you cannot apply. But when it becomes 0, you can apply. That figure is 0. Is it clear? Right. That's all about the fair value measurement. And I will recap what I have explained to you. In the fair value measurement again, I told you in the fair value measurement you require to consider 4 points. That is unit of account, that is you are going to, what is the item you are going to measure. Then the highest and best use, I have explained some example for highest and best use. Then the market, selection of market, we have discussed now 2 questions. And the approach, we have discussed question for the approach also. 1 item can be tested in this time, keep your mind, right? And ready for this standard in this time. This will be available after the conceptual framework of your study text. Read it also. Okay, right, that is the end of fair value measurement. Now I am moving into the other standard, that is impairment. LKS 36, right? The important point is this. මේ ප්‍රමිතේ තියෙන පුතේ වැදගත්ම slide එක මේක ඈ. ඔයාලගේ පළවෙනිම පිටුව බලන්න. The scope. Look at the scope page. මම ඇයි මේක වැදගත්ම කියලා කියන්නම් වෙලාවකදී. ඒකට වෙලාවක් එනවා. This is the important point. Look at the first page, its scope. The standard cannot be applied කියලා except for කියලා ඇති නේද ඔයගන්ට? Section 2, 3. මොකක්ද section එක? එක එක්කෙනාගෙන් අහන්නේ අපි නේද? ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරගත්තනේ මාත්. Section 2 underline කරගන්න, highlight කරගන්න. දෙතර highlight කරා කියලා අමතක වෙන විභාගෙදී. Then what you have to do? Take the first page of this standard. First page. First page, I think you have a blank page, right? Yes, here. Amma, niyam. මොන තරම් ඉඳ තියෙනව මේ? පළවෙනි page එක මෙහෙමත් තියෙන. හරි ඔගේ ලියන්න දැන්. මේ impairment කියන තැන යටින් ඉඳන් ලියන්න පටන් ගන්න ඔයාලගේ summary. පළවෙනි එක ලියන්න මොකද්ද? Assets exclude from this standard. එහෙම ලියන්න. Assets exclude from this standard. එහෙම කියලා පොඩි වගන්තියක් පැන්සලෙන් ලියන්න. එහෙම ලියන් ඉන්න පුළුවන් නේද සුරත්? පුළුවන්. Assets exclude. ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකේ තියෙන දේම ලියන්න ඒකිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Assets exclude from this standard. කියලා ලියුවද? ලියවුවද? ඉස්සරහින් ලියන්න section 2 කියලා. හරිද? තව ඉතින් විභාගයට ඇවිල්ලා ලියලා දෙන්න විතරයි ඉතුරු වෙන්නේ මෙහෙම කියනවා. section 2 කියලා ලියුවද? Let's go for the section 2. හැබැයි මෙතනින් පස්සේ පුතේ මම ආපහු මේ පිටුවට යන්න ඕක ලියා ගන්න එහෙම කියන්නේ නැහැ. මම highlight කරන හැම point එකම ඔයාලා ලියා ගන්න ඕනේ එතන ගිහිල්ලා. මේ point එකේ section එක මෙතන, මේ point එකේ section එක මෙතන එහෙම කියලා. Clear නේද? Right. Now look at the section 2. List of standard excluded ne. Clear neda? List of standard excluded. I will take the presentation. Right. What are the items excluded? Inventories. Got it? Then asset arising from construction. Why they excluded inventories from the impairment? Somebody asked. Why inventories will be excluded? Not will be. Already excluded from the impairment standard. What is impairment? You will consider the recoverable value of the asset. In the bond, from the bond, the definition of an asset is what? It will generate future economic benefit to the business. Is it clear? මේක තමයි වචනේ. අනාගත ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිලාභ එනවා. Therefore, you must represent the asset in your balance sheet asset equal to future economic benefit. Am I correct or wrong? That's the way. Got it? If I take that conceptual framework to measure assets and liabilities, conceptual framework provided 4 methods. Remember? මම එක මේ වෙබින් එකේ කියන එක නතර කරා. ඒ දන්නවද? ඔයාලට පුළුවන් නම් ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න 2016 දෙසැම්බර් වෙබිනාර් ඩවුන්ලෝඩ් කරන් දෙන්නේ අතන දාලා තියෙන්නේ. 2016 වෙබිනාර් වල BFR දවස් 10ක් කරා 14ක් කරා sorry. ඒ වීඩියෝස් 14 අරන් බලන්න මම ඇයි උගන්වන්නේ නැත්තේ කියලා. conceptual framework කරන්නේ. කරලා තියෙන මේ වීඩියෝ එක බලන්න. ඒ වීඩියෝ එකේ පුතේ මම conceptual framework තමයි පළවෙනි දවසේ කරේ. හරි. ඒ වීඩියෝ එකේ මම මේ බෝඩ් එකේ අතර කෙරවලේ අතන අල්ලගෙන එක පැත්තකින් බෝඩ් එක මම ලියනවා. ඔයාලා ගිහිල්ලා බලන්න එක්සැම්පල් එකක් එක්ක. asset එකක් හරි liability එකක් හරි measure කරන්න තියෙන ක්‍රම හතරයි. that is historical cost, current cost, realizable value, present value. ඊට පස්සේ මම එක්සැම්පල් එකක් අරන් ඒක කරලා පෙන්නනවා මෝටර රථයක් අරගෙන මම ඒක කරලා පෙන්නනවා. ඒ කරලා පෙන්නලා දවස් 10කට පස්සේ BFR paper එක තියෙනවා. හරි? ඒ ප්‍රශ්නේ මේ විදිහටම අහන්න. ළමයි 2000ක් ලියනවා. 1961ක් ලියනවා. එක ළමයෙක්වත් ලකුණු 5යි මේ ප්‍රශ්නෙට ගන්න. එක ළමයෙක් කරන්නේ නැහැ දන්නවද ඔයාලා? 1961ක් ලියලා මෙතනත් හින්දලා 200ක් විතර එක්කෙනෙක් ලියලා නැහැ. ඉතින් මොකටද උගන්නන්නේ? අරන් බලන්න වීඩියෝ එක බොරු කියන්න ඕනේ නේ වීඩියෝස් තියෙනවා. බොරු කියන්න බෑ අපිට වෙබිනා කරලා. පන්තියක් කරලා නම් කීයද බොරු මම මේවා කරා කියලා මොකද වීඩියෝස් නැහැනේ. ඒක බෑ. එක ළමයෙක් ලියලා නැහැ නේ හිතන්නකො කොච්චර කරුමයක්ද අපේ ලංකාවේ කියලා. 1960 ළමයි පාස් වෙන්නේ කීයද දෙසැම්බර් එක්සෑම් එක? කීයද පාස් වෙන්නේ? 161යි BFR. වැඩිම ලකුණු කීයක් තිබ්බේ? 61යි. කවුද ඒ ළමයා? පොඩි ළමයෙක් ජයවර්ධන විශ්වවිද්‍යාලයේ accountancy first year ඉන්න ළමයා. management faculty first year ඉන්න ළමයා. 1960 ගානක් ලියලා 161ක් පාස් වෙනවා. පළවෙනි ප්‍රශ්නෙම තියෙන්නේ පුතේ මෝටර රථයක් දීලා අර වැලියුස් හතර ලියන්න කියලා. ලකුණු 6යි. ඒ ළමයට තියෙන්නේ ලකුණු 3යි දන්නවද? ඒ මිනිහවල් ලියලා නැහැ. ඉතින් මොකාගේද ප්‍රශ්නේ? මගේද? මම තීරණය කරා ආයි මේක මුන්ට උගන්වන්නේ නෑ වැඩක් නෑ. දැන් මේ පාරත් අහනෝ ඉම්පයර්මන්ට් එකයි ෆෙයා වැලියු එකයි අනිවාර්යෙන් හරිද? ඔයාලා ලියන්නෙත් නෑ කියලා මම දන්නවා. ඒ ලබන පාර වෙබිනා එකේදී ඒකත් නොකර ඉන්නවා. වැඩක් නෑනේ බා. එන්න මොකක් හරි තියෙනව නේද අවුලක් ඔයාලගේ. මොකක්ද කියලා මටත් හිතා ගන්න බෑ ඔයාලටත් බෑ. ඒක තමයි මට ප්‍රශ්නේ පුතේ. මොකක් හරි මෙහෙම ඔයාලා කියන්නේ පුතේ මෙහෙම කියලා දීලා මේ විදිහට ඔළුව අත ගාලා කියලා දීලා අපි ওই chartered exam වලට යවුවේ නෑ ඉස්සර. මොකද අපිට පොත හරියට ස්ටඩි බැක් එකක් වත් නෑ. තියෙන ස්ටඩි බැක් එකේ තියෙනවා තේරෙන්නේ නෑ. දැන් බලන්න ස්ටඩි බැක් තියෙනවා ක්ලාස් 5ක් 6ක් තියෙනවා කොළඹ. වෙබිනා ටික තියෙනවා. මොනවද නැත්තේ? නේ හැමදේම තියෙනවානේ. ඒත් ලියන්නේ නෑනේ. ඇයි? ඔන්න ඔකට උත්තරයක් වල මට කියන්න සඳහන් හොඳද? ඇත්තටම මට ඒක හරි ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඉස්සරහම අපි කරේ නෑ අපිට පුතේ උගන්නන්න තිය චාර්ලි ඩින්සුට් එකේ තියෙන තැනටවත් මම එන්න දන්නේ නෑ පාරේ. ඔයාලා දැන් හැමදාම හවසට එනවා නිකන් ගෙදර යනවා වගේ නේ. එහෙම වෙලත් ඇයි ලියන්නේ? ඒකෙන්ද හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න මේ කියන පොයින්ට් මම මේ වෙබිනා සීරීස් එකේ කියන දේවල් හොඳට ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. අනිවාර්යෙන් අහන්න. එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එකෙන් කියන්නේ මට පේපර් එක කාලවත් ගෙනල්ලා දෙන්න මෙන්න පේපර් එක බං ගිහින් කියන් කියලා. මිනිසුන්ගේ චර්යාවත් එක්ක පුතේ තීරණය කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ මනුස්සයා ඊළඟට හැසිරෙන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. කේල් ගහකුයි හරකෙකුයි එක ළඟ තිබ්බොත් ඊළඟට හරක මොකද කරන්නේ? කේල් ගහට වතුර දානවද? නෑ. බල්ලා හිටියොත් කේල් ගහට වතුර දානවා. හරක කේල් ගහ කනවා. අපිට ඒක ප්‍රෙඩික්ට් කරන්න බැරිද? ඒක තමයි පුතේ සාමාන්‍ය දැනීම කියන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ නොලෙජ් එක හරකා ඉන්නවා කේල් ගහ ගාව හරකා කේල් ගහ කයිද දන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම කියන් අපි කල්පනා කරනවා. වෙන්න බැරි දෙයක් තමයි කල්පනා කරන්නේ. එහෙම කරන්න එපා. right. මට කියන්න why impairment cannot be applied for inventories? Within the inventory standard to subsequent measurement, it should be measured at lower of NRV or cost. When you apply that rule, it's already impaired. Got it? Itself, it has impairment. Therefore, do you need to apply LKS 36 again? It is double counting. Therefore, don't need to eliminate the double counting. You are not going to apply LKS 36 on that inventory. Clear? Standard එක ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕන ඔහොම පුතේ. නැතුව පටපාඩම් කරන්නේ නැහැ. මෙන්න list එක මේකට නෑ මේකට තියෙන. You must know why it not applied. Okay. Asset arising from construction contract. Why? Construction contract means you are constructing an asset to another party. then can you impair it? You have to record it at cost because you are incurring cost to develop it and you are going to transfer to your customer. Clear? අපි පුතේ පාන් හදලා පාන් වල cost එක impair කරනවා. And you have to sell it to the customer. And you are trying to cover the cost with the margin you are expecting, right? Second, deferred tax. Deferred tax asset. Normally deferred tax asset, the asset will be arise in future day, right? Am I correct? එහෙමද? Deferred tax කරාද අපි? අකරාද? Future asset නේ. According to the prudent concept, can you identify future assets? Can't. But standard asks you to identify special purpose that deferred tax. Therefore, no need to apply impairment again. Clear? Financial asset within the scope of well case 32. No need to apply impairment. Why? Financial asset come under L case 32. Most of the financial asset will be measured at fair value. When you measure the fair value, it automatically impair. No need to apply L case 36 again. Got it? Right. Then, investment property is measured at fair value. Why? ආයෝජන දේපල fair value එකට measure කරනවා නම් impairment apply කරන්න ඕනද ආපහු? නෑ, year by year you will measure the fair value. Sometimes fair value may be lower figure when compared to the opening fair value. Then that deduction amount charged into profit and loss as a loss. Do you need to measure the fair value again according to LCS 36? No. If you measure impairment again, you have a double count in there. ඉතින් පුතේ දැන් මම මෙහෙම කියා යනකොට ඔළුවට එන්න ඕන කාරණාවක් තියෙනවා මොකක්ද? When asset individually measuring their fair value by themselves by their standards, got it what I'm telling? When asset measuring their fair value and charging any losses to the P&L by themselves their individual standards, do you need to apply LKS 36 again? Do you need to apply LKS 36 again? No. That's the rationale. ඒතර බලන්න තියෙන ඔක්කොම එහෙමනේ. Investment property is measured at fair value. Biological asset measured at fair value less cost to sell. Non-current asset measured at fair value less cost to sell because මතකද non-current asset held for sale. මම මේක පැහැදිලි කරා fair value measurement වලදී. විකුණන්න තියෙන වත්කම අපි පෙන්නන්නේ fair value less cost to sell. Then standard itself has that fair value measurement. Then you need to apply LKS 36 again. No. Clear? ඒතර simply පුතේ වත්කම් සාධාරණකට මැනලා accounts තියෙනවා නම් automatically හානිකරණයක් තියෙනවා නම් ගිණුම් ගත වෙනව නේද? එහෙනම් ආපහු LKS 36 apply කරන්න ඕනද? නෑ. When asset measured it at fair value, automatically it will be tested for impairment. If fair value less than the opening fair value, you will charge that loss into the P&L. Therefore, no need to apply LKS 36 and measure impairment again. Again and again, no need to apply. Therefore, now we have a conclusion. LKS 36 most of the time will be applied for what? Which asset? Asset will be measured at which value? Cost. Got it? This is very important point. When you take the conceptual framework, what are the four methods you have to measure assets? Historical cost, current cost, realizable value and present value. These are the four methods recommended by the conceptual framework to measure an asset, right? What is historical cost? Asset will be measured at the cost you incurred deducting any depreciation. Got it? Therefore, this method always talk about the cost. What is current cost? The cost to be incurred to purchase a same asset today. Got it? Now, say you have a vehicle. Say you have a motor vehicle, hatchback motor vehicle, right? You need to record it in your balance sheet, right? This is the balance sheet. Balance sheet or statement of financial position. non-current assets. Cost, accumulated depreciation, written down value. Right? Say cost is 100,000. Accumulated depreciation, net book value. To arrive this figure, got it? To arrive this figure, you have 4 methods according to the conceptual framework. If you arrive this figure by deducting accumulated depreciation, that's method called what is? Historical cost method. Clear? Right. Therefore, historical cost method talk about the cost always. Right? What is current cost method? You are not applying this method. You will estimate what is the value to be paid, right? To be paid to acquire a similar asset. Got it? The amount to be paid to acquire a similar asset. Clear? Right. Then this will tell you which value. Cost value or current market value of the same asset. Current market value of a similar asset. This is talk about the market value. What is realizable value? What is the realizable value again? The amount you can collect by selling your asset. So, current cost එක realizable value එකේ වෙනස මොකක්ද පුතේ? කියන්න 7යි 20යි. කියන්න. මේ හතර ඇත්තටම තේරෙලා නෙමෙයි නේද ඉන්නේ? If I ask a question, what is the difference between current cost and realizable value? මොකද්ද පුතේ වෙනස? ඇත්තට කියන්න දන්නවද? දන්නේ? ඔයාලා දෙන්න දන්නවද පුතේ? current cost එකේ realizable value එකේ වෙනස? උන්ට ගන්නකො මේ කාර් එක balance sheet එකට දාන්න නේද තියෙන්නේ? දාන්න the first method what you have? Cost minus accumulated depreciation. What is the second method? You are not going to measure this car. This car name is A. You will find out another car, same car. Say B. And you will estimate how much you have to pay to buy this car. Clear? Current cost means cost you need to incur to buy this car. Realizable value means selling price of this car. Clear? Therefore, what is the difference? This is the market value of current asset. Same asset. This is the market value of similar asset. Right? This is similar asset. This is market value of what? Huh? Same asset. වෙනස SA SI. තේරුණාද? What is this? Sorry. Present value කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Discounted value of future net cash flows. එහෙම නේද? දැන් අර level 1 level 2 level 3 කියන එක මතක් කරගන්න. level 1 කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Direct market price. This one. Clear? Level 2 කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Price of a similar asset. This one. Level 3 කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? Discounted value of future expected net cash flows. ඒකින්ද මෙන්න මේ ක්‍රම තුනෙන් කතා කරන්නේ මොන වැලියු එකකද? cost එකද fair value එකද? fair value. මේකෙන් කතා කරන්නේ cost එක. ඒතර LKS 36 apply කරන්න කොහටද? asset which will be measured at cost, because here you already calculate the impairment. Got it? That is this scope. And that's why conceptual framework එක වෙනම පාඩමක්, LKS 36 වෙනම පාඩමක්, සමීර ඇන්තනි කියන්නේ වෙනම මිනිහෙක්, අපි කියන්නේ වෙනම මිනිහෙක්. එහෙම බෑ. Everything is same. Is it clear? Now look at the list. Everything measured at fair value will be excluded from the LKS 36. Got it? Right. Now, the purpose of this standard need to be learned. What's the purpose? Right? Give me 1 minute. Right, look at this presentation. Now here you have a balance sheet, right? In this balance sheet, the one part of the balance sheet, right? Non-current asset, PP, land and building, cost 100,000. Building also there, therefore depreciation 20,000. It is valued at 80,000 is the carrying value as at a particular date. Got it? Now this 80,000 arrived according to which method of the conceptual framework? Tell me. Historical cost method. Therefore, you are responsible to apply which standard? LKS 36 impairment. Clear? Now how we are going to apply? I am going to explain it. How we are going to apply? This 80,000 is not the market price. It is not the fair price. It is not the fair value. Therefore, you are going to apply impairment standard. Now, when the users will use this balance sheet, by reading the balance sheet, users will imagine, yes, we can sell this land into 80,000. Am I correct? In actual situation, if entity unable to dispose this at 80,000, is it fair to disclose it at 80,000? Clear? Make ඇත්තටම 80000ට විකුණ ගන්න බැරි නම් is it fair to disclose it at 80,000? Not fair. You will mislead the user. Therefore, what you have to do? To record it at 80,000, no, to record it at actual recoverable value. You have to record it at actual recoverable value. Then users will understand the reality. Sometimes you can recover only 60,000, but you will record your balance sheet at 80,000. Then users will believe entity have a strength to earn 80,000 rupees through this land. But actual scenario, you are able to collect only 60,000. Therefore, you know when you are recording assets at cost, it should be recorded, it is recoverable value, not the carrying value. Now the issue is how to measure the recoverable value. When you have an asset, what are the methods you have to recover it? දැන් ප්‍රශ්නය. ජීවිතේට ඔක මම අද නේද ඇහුවේ. පෙරලා ගන්න conceptual framework එක. conceptual framework එකේ assets කියන තැනට යන්න. recognition assets කියන තැනට. මේ තියෙන 4යි 10 ඡේදය 410 section 410 of the standard sorry conceptual framework The future economic benefit embodied in an asset may flow to the entity in number of ways. Got it? You will record your land and building in my example 80,000 rupees. The meaning of that, the future economic benefit will equal to the 80,000 rupees will flow to the business in future. That is the news you are telling your users impliedly. Am I correct? Now, how it is coming to the business? 4 ways. Conceptual framework identified 4 ways. ඔයාලා දන්නවද 2012 A level paper එක මේක ඇහුවා. 2012 A level ලියපුවා තු සර්. ඉන්නවා. ලිව්වද ඔකට පුතේ? වත්කමක අනාගත ආර්ථික ප්‍රතිලාභ ගලා එන ආකාරය කුමක්ද කියලා A level paper එක ඇහුවා. මම විභාග papers බලපු විභාග මධ්‍යස්ථානයේ එක ළමෙක්වත් ලියලා තිබ්බේ නැහැ. open book නෙමෙයි මේකයි. right? ලියලා තිබ්බේ නැහැ. ඒ හේතුව A level ගුරුවරු උගන්වන්නේ නැහැ. මේ conceptual framework එකේ තියෙන්නේ. අද දකින්න නැත්තේ නේ. How it is coming into the business? 4 ways examples. Used silently or in combination with other asset in the production of goods or services. Is it clear? Yani භාවිතා කිරීම හරහා you will generate future economic benefit. Write down within bracket what is value in use. Within bracket write down that is the value in use. The value you will generate by using. Right? Using for the production of goods or rendering services. Value in use. That means you will have future economic benefit or not. When you are going to use, that means it will generate future economic benefit. You have to estimate and discount it. Clear? To get the current value. Second method, exchange for other asset. Exchange for other asset means you will dispose today. The number 1, you will continuously use. But number 2, you will dispose today. What is it? Fair value less cost to sell. Write down second point, fair value less cost to sell. Because you will dispose. Exchange to another asset means you will receive another asset. That is a sales consideration. Clear? That is fair value less cost to sell. Number 3, used to settle a liability. Again, fair value less cost to sell. Distribute to owners as dividend. Again, fair value less cost to sell because you are disposing it. All B, C, D will give you current value. Got it? But A will give you future value. Their future value need to be discounted. Current value no need to discount. Therefore, asset will generate future economic benefit basically in 2 ways. What is? Either sale or use. Am I correct? Either sale or use. Through dispose or through use. Got it? Right. Therefore, the recoverable value of the asset of this land and building can be calculated in 2 ways. Value in use or fair value less cost to sale. Now, I have included figures. Value in use 70,000, fair value less cost to sale 65,000. As a rational investor, which method do you prefer? Rational investor trying to recover as much as possible. Therefore, as the recoverable value you will select highest. Therefore, standard also asks you to select highest. Therefore, you will select value in use as the recoverable value since it gives you more value. Therefore, recoverable value how much? 70,000, but balance sheet recorded 80,000. Your asset should be cut off, write down by 10,000. Asset credit P&L, debit 10,000. Then asset will be recorded in the balance sheet at how much? 70,000. Then users never mislead. Got it? That is the purpose of standard impairment. Now, throughout this standard, you have to learn how to measure value in use, how to measure fair value less cost to sale. Keep your mind to take this fair value. Only FV, only this part, you have to apply what? Kata karan? SLFRS 13 fair value measurement. All other parts included in the LKS 36. Let's take in the next day. That is Monday. Monday we have, right? Monday evening I will take the balance part of the impairment.